Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to another episode of Outsourcing and More. And you are with today's host, your host. My name is Francis.
My name is Penny.
And today, I think we have a very interesting
Yes, we do.
topic. I maybe wish that I heard something like this.
Yeah, it would have made things a lot faster.
Would have made
Yeah.
things a lot faster.
Mm.
So today we're wanting to talk about our business, which is outsourcing
Mm-hmm. And it's
in
also
the
a startup.
broadest general
Yeah.
sense. Is it really a startup?
Well,
I mean, anything that starts is
that's why it's called a startup.
is a start up. But we're talking about, I guess, both from our experience and at the same time, uh,
Like working with a
tips.
lot, like most of our clients are startups.
Most of our clients are startups too. Yes. So coming from all of these vast
Experience best.
I- yeah, let's say vast. Um, the topic is called. I am looking for the topic because I had it in my head. Accelerating
Business
startup
growth.
growth.
Yeah, startup growth
Yes.
with
Originally, the
outsourcing
topic was like fast
setups.
setup for startups, but I'm not sure if that qualifies. We thought to sort of like just reinvent the topic, but we wanted to say accelerating startup growth. So let's take it from let's take it from the grassroots. Let's talk about a little bit about our own business.
Our own
Uh,
business.
our own business, yes.
Okay, what about it? No,
Where last time I checked,
mm,
um, our business qualifies
as a
as
startup, yeah. Well,
yeah, but no, but
yeah.
at this point in time, if you really just compare it, of course, Google is my friend, and I saw that based on our growth and our track
Mm,
record, profit levels, we actually qualify as a mid-sized
yeah.
company.
Yay us. Anyway.
Yes. No, seriously. The reason why my voice was dropping is because sometimes you kind of
Are you sure
are
we're
you
already
sure? Do you want to
mid-size?
admit that to yourself? And
Feels like still a startup.
it feels like it's still starting up, yeah.
Yeah.
But we had such a, I guess, if you think about it, ours was a very different pace compared to maybe how other companies would do it. We
Yes.
had a lot of, uh,
Like most of our clients are from word of mouth.
yes,
Yeah,
we,
so
we
very
were,
very organic.
we weren't
Yeah.
aggressively hunting
Yes.
for clients, yes. So maybe it took us a while to get to where we are, but got there anyways. The interesting thing that I usually find is that we had such an odd start to our business. It's like I keep saying we keep telling people, to anyone who'd listen, to anyone who'd listen,
And
that
anyone who wouldn't want to
even if they
listen.
don't want to listen, we
Yeah.
tell them anyway
Yeah.
that our business sort of fell on our laps.
Yes, I did.
That
Yeah.
But what we're talking about now, since we had a chance to like really read up on growing, accelerating
Yes.
our business,
Yes.
scaling our business, um, we found out that maybe there were things that we could have done in the
Yes.
beginning,
Mm.
maybe as either a way to aggressively grow it,
Yeah.
or I mean, if not aggressively grow it, like there were options
Yes.
that we
We're
could have
just
taken.
stubborn.
We're
Well,
we were
partly
plainly
stubborn,
we were
partly I would say a little bit ignorant, naive, probably naive.
yeah, and
Yeah.
that's what I if I were to just go back and if the proverbial, if you could go back and do things differently, I probably wouldn't have.
Yeah.
But on hindsight, there's always, yeah, if I'm going to go ahead and talk to somebody and say, I'm gonna give you a little bit of business advice, do this,
Yes.
you know. But like I said, our business is a little bit unique in several aspects. But let's say, how exactly would you define a business startup?
A business startup?
Yeah.
Well, a business is starting now. We can't
Yeah.
get.
Yeah. Okay. So
No, no, no.
Kickstarter programs, for
Yeah.
example, you have an idea
Yes.
that you think is gonna sell,
Yes.
and when you have something like that, you start off with, say, a product
Yeah, product. You start off with.
or an idea
Yeah.
or a service that you want to sell. Hence, SaaS companies, service as sorry, software,
Yeah.
software as a service, and that's with the advent of so many software developers thinking
Yes.
about what can I
Yes, most
what
of the time it's in the development of that software where
Yeah.
all of the effort goes to.
exactly it goes to that effort, and then there comes a certain maturity where that product is ready to sell, and then all of a sudden, boom, you have
Yeah.
a company,
Yes, you have a company.
and you're
getting
juggling
customers.
100 different things
Yeah.
at once
Yes.
coming at you. So let's say, for example, you have product A. I wanted to for example, I developed a super cell phone case.
Okay.
So you have a lot of thought and development
Yeah, product.
into
yeah,
turning a product into reality.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the time comes when you say it's ready for the market,
Yes, you're ready to launch it.
you're ready to launch it.
But
And
there's a
all of
lot
a
of
sudden,
other things
what
that's
you have,
involved there.
what you have is a product,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's a ton of stuff that needs to be done.
Yes.
You sort of discover that there's a ton of things that needs to be done in
Mm-hmm.
order for you to market your product properly.
And for your
at the
business
very-
to operate.
and for your
Yeah.
business to operate, exactly. So product A now becomes a burden.
No.
now becomes a burden. But yeah, as a business, that's mostly how
Your mind is gonna get scattered.
into
everywhere.
a million different pieces.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some of the things that would surround product A. Let's call it the amazing cell
super
phone
cell phone
case.
case, yeah.
The super cell phone case. You have to, and that's the thing. Like even now, I struggle to think what comes first, what comes before the other. So if you ask one person, they'd say you have to focus on marketing. And then there's another person who says you have to focus on the selling.
Yeah.
And then number 3,
Or the
you now
research
have
for how to develop your
how
product.
to develop the
and
product further.
What features
Yeah,
to put
to
in
turn
there
it from
and
the
prioritize.
super
Yep.
cell phone case to the super cell phone case version 2 right away.
Yeah.
Because and see, most of the time when you have that, you start selling this product in small quantities. You already get feedback from people who
Yes.
say, yes, it's super, could be better. So all of a sudden you find yourself barraged with a ton of things, but you're just a guy who built a product.
Yes.
And that's it. Thank you so much for tuning
No,
in.
but so what we're talking that situation right there is the point where you're scaling
Yes.
already, right? And so
And it
you
can be
are thrown.
daunting.
Yeah, it is daunting. I'm not gonna BS around. It's
Yeah.
daunting, especially for someone whose core competency is really developing a product,
Exactly.
right? And so
You're the guy who built the product, but
yes,
are you the best person?
to actually
To
talk
sell.
to customers and sell and
Yeah.
market your product, put it
I mean,
out
in terms
there.
of evangelizing. That's the word, right?
Yeah.
Okay. There's evangelizing your product. Yes, I mean you built it. You
Yes,
can't talk
you
about
know
it, but
that, yeah.
sometimes you might be the right face for the product. Let's
Yes.
admit. I mean, in a lot of sense, like in a lot of startup companies, usually the founders become the face of the business or the product, but oftentimes not necessarily. Hence, who can be the right person to start marketing the product? Do we build a commercial out of this? Do we build like this super amazing how to we snap it on your phone and then throw it off a cliff?
Yeah.
And that's how we market the product.
Yeah. So how do you know when it's time to partner with someone else?
Or build it yourself from the ground up.
Yeah. How would you know? I think for me, based on our experience, it came to a point where, I can learn anything, right? You technically can learn anything in
The
this day and
hub-
age,
The
right?
hubris
Yeah.
of
But
the hubris of ownership.
yeah. But at that point in time, do I have the time to learn that part of the business? Like, for example, marketing. Do I have time to learn about
You
marketing?
probably can.
Yeah, I mean,
If you
I
had-
can.
Yeah. No, I'm not just.
I
I'm not
can.
talking about you. We're
No,
talking
no.
about the
Yes,
the
yes, yes.
proverbial person.
Yeah.
Because yes, given enough time, I think anybody
Yeah.
can learn anything. But the problem is you're faced with the here and now.
Plus, you're gonna get limited because you can only move, as far as
Yeah, and as
marketing,
fast
right?
as you can
Yeah,
move
as fast as you
yourself.
can. And that can also bring about mistakes because you're still learning, right? And so that's one of the things that you, as businesses or as startups, you have to think about. So what do I know now? What can I actually? What tasks do I need that I'm just, I know this, but not
Talk about
really.
tasks. Talk
Right.
about the actual
Goals, yes,
processes.
yes.
Yeah.
That you need someone else to do or partner with.
So talking about this from the broader sense, you now have a business, a literal business. Now you have one aspect filled
Yes.
correctly, which is
Well,
you
not
have the.
entirely correctly,
No, I
but
mean,
sometimes it
I'm talking about
can get away from you really
no, but what
fast.
I'm talking about is that, see, in order for a business to be a business, you either have to have a product, a service,
Yes.
or something. So, like I said, inevitably, most companies would get that part right. They have the product that they want to
Yes.
sell. What's missing now is the other aspects needed to move
Yeah.
said product or business. So, like I said, as a business, you're now faced with, do I hire and build my company from the ground up, which is ideally what most companies would do. So it's time for us to start hiring.
Hiring, yeah.
Yeah. A competent chief marketing officer
Yes.
or a technology officer or, director for support services. But oftentimes, when you start off with that kind of business, you built the product, which has a lot of potential. But where's the money going to come from? In the ideal world, you'll be able to sell enough of this product in order to hire the people that you need. But the question is, in order to hire the people that I need to sell the product.
Yes.
So it becomes
Your chicken and eggs
chicken and egg
scenario.
conundrum.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I guess that's where the success of Shark Tank comes from, because you have a lot of people who
Actually, know that part of the business is
yeah,
investing in
and
you.
they have the investments. But we're talking about startups who um who are now faced with, like, even if you get the money, it's always a question of, because there's always
Many things
so
that you
many
can
things that you can spend
focus
that
on. Yeah,
money
yeah.
on,
Yes.
and then it becomes a question of which ones would you prioritize
Yes.
right away. And that we've always said that support services would probably come in last, which I have I have arguments, but it's kind of like the reality for a lot of these businesses. They have to
Yeah.
focus on the marketing and the selling part
Yeah.
if they're going to
Because
be able
that's
to bring in
what's
money.
yeah, that's what's bringing in the money. Like, if you really, really look at it, that's bringing money. But
Yeah.
support also brings in.
So
like,
where do you
contributes
want
to
to
bottom
where do you
line.
want to take this conversation? Because let's say, for example, we've established that you now have the need
Yeah.
that you need to fill. Which one do you prioritize?
I think and we've talked about like the hiring bit, right? At
Mm-hmm.
some point, you need to have people in your team to be able to expand and scale, right? But also, it doesn't always have to be someone within the same in the local scene,
Yeah,
and that depends on what your priorities are as well.
especially if your local scene happens to be one of the more like expensive places. Like,
Yes, expensive
I
places. Yeah.
need a marketing officer, and that marketing officer just happens to be, twice as expensive
Yeah.
compared to other
And as a startup,
locations.
you just have limited budget.
Very
Yeah, yeah.
limited budget, so you can't really say, okay, I need somebody for marketing. But the problem is, number one, I might not even have enough to
To hire.
hire that
Yeah.
marketing person.
Because
Number
it's not
two,
just the
hire them
marketing. There
long-term.
there are also like marketing efforts that you need to concentrate on,
Yeah.
as well as the other parts of the business, like sales and all of the other
And they
stuff.
all need more budget in order to to create ads out
Yes.
of you can't just hire the person, and sometimes the person that you need to hire isn't even the one who's going to do the work. They need to
Yes.
hire the person that they need to
Yeah.
order around. So
Order around. Anyway, yeah, yeah.
it's
But yeah, I get what you mean.
yeah. So I always said, and that was sort of like our conundrum at the
Yeah,
same
before,
time.
yeah,
And
we did.
in our case, we just decided, we're going to be
No, we can
Superman and
only.
Superwoman.
Yeah, yeah. That at the very start, we were doing everything,
We were
but
doing
but at
everything.
some point, as I mentioned, just gonna be limited by what you know. You're
Yes.
you're just gonna be, if you can find someone who's more skilled in that
Yeah.
area, who's knowledgeable in that area.
And I'm not even gonna brag that we literally did everything. I mean, if somebody had to ask us, yes, we had to do
We
everything
did
ourselves.
everything, but we're like drowning.
Yes.
We were.
Yes. I mean, the whatever measure of success that we have right now, we kind of did work on
Yes.
ourselves. But the problem is that's because of our own decisions that we didn't want to risk asking for investors for money and say
Yes.
that we're gonna grow to such and such level, and we'll be able to give you your ROI. I mean, start off with the decisions that you need to make. Do you want to sell your product in order to get enough money to hire people, or number two, do you want to attract investors who would be interested in your product? Hence again, Shark Tank
Yeah.
ideas, right? Or pitch ideas. In our case, because we wanted to do it organically.
Yeah.
We hit on a couple of clients right away, and we were like, okay, we're getting the money, and then we kind of have enough of ourselves to say if we need to hire somebody, let's just do it ourselves. We needed a website, we're just gonna do it.
Yeah.
We just did it ourselves.
Hi, WordPress.
Hello WordPress, we learned you,
Yeah, we did.
and I gladly forgot everything that I learned about you. But that's where that was our own decision,
Yeah.
because we didn't want to deal with the pressure of
Having
of
investors.
having an investor to say,
And no, I think our experience is quite unique because that at the very start we were like, oh, okay, let's just do this. Someone needs this. Okay, let's just do this. It took us more than a year to really think that, oh, now we have a company.
more,
Right.
probably
That
more.
right. We didn't set out
It sounded,
the
in the beginning, it honestly sounded more like a side project.
yes, right, right, right.
Yeah.
But for businesses, especially, sorry, for startups, especially for
And
tech
you
startups,
start off
yeah,
as a business, that it makes it so different, because
the attack is very
on
different.
at the onset, that's the goal of
Is to really grow.
is to really
Fast.
grow.
Especially when you have investors and you have people to answer to.
Mm-hmm.
You really have to move fast and accelerate your growth really
Yes.
fast without losing sight of everything that needs to happen day to day in, day out.
Well, actually, the
Like the
moment you start
operations.
getting an investor, the what becomes a clear target on site is ROI.
Yes, exactly. That's why you really like startups. They move really fast.
So fast.
Yeah.
So let's say, because again, what we're trying to talk about is, we might be able to inject a little bit of our experiences again from time to time, but going back, if we were to take Virtua from the ground up and say, this is how it should have started, what we really needed to do was to attack the problem head on, in terms of, we got ourselves a business. That's an idea, setting up support processes
Yeah.
for businesses. And like I said, it grew at such a snail's pace because we didn't want to. But if we were to think about it right now, what would we have done?
Talked about
We
yeah.
If we got
Yeah.
like
We
an
would have-
initial
we would-
investment,
Yeah, we would have set up our team.
very differently.
Yeah, set up our team very differently, or even set up our team earlier than we
Much
did.
earlier.
Much earlier
Because
than we did.
again, there was a time when we just didn't have personal lives. It was just work.
We're even during weekends we're talking about work.
Live, eat, breathe, work.
Yeah.
And I think that's not healthy. I personally think that's not healthy. It was fun because
Mm.
that's what we decided. I'm just gonna own up to that and say that's what we decided to do. Therefore, when again on hindsight, if I think about it, I probably would have said we're in the business of managing resources for other businesses.
Why
What
not?
we really should have focused on is the resources to manage
Yes.
those resources.
Yes.
I would have said hiring,
Yeah.
uh, a hiring team, an
A very
HR
strong HR
team.
team. Yeah.
Yeah, a very strong
Strong
HR
HR
team
team.
would have really made it. Yeah, and then marketing because we need to market the resources. And like I said, even for us, while we were gathering the resources that we needed to do, that was like a very fair question
Yeah.
on each side. We got which one to do first because if we hire this person, we need to lock him in for a minimum of X number of months, and then to do this much. And if it's gonna be marketing,
Yeah. Plus,
uh,
I think one of the reasons why we kind of delayed the HR bit was that since our clients are all referrals, it was kind of based on
you
both
and me,
you and me and our reputation, right?
yes,
And so we wanted to make sure
that
that whoever
everybody
we're
that we
yeah
hired
is,
could
is actually a
a
representation. Yeah,
reflection.
yeah, reflection of how we do our work.
Yes, and that was a
But
very
that's not
fair,
very yeah. It's
was
a
a fair
very
ask,
fair ask, but not very scalable
not
because
scalable at
we
all.
there's only two of us, and we
Yes,
still have a ton of things to work on
yes.
in our business.
So there's that question now. If you're still product A, let's go back to the amazing
Super
cell phone
cell phone
case.
case.
This is the super cell phone case.
Now it changes. You're iterating
Yeah,
on the name of your product.
the pace changes because maybe you need to do them both.
Yes.
Maybe let's decide that they're both equally important, sales and marketing.
Yeah.
So you pour all of your energy and resources into doing that because that will generate income.
Income for you to have more budget for the other parts of the
Yeah.
business. So you
But now you have
prioritize
maybe
first, yeah.
some budget, but the question is the less the other just as important part, which is to develop the product further so that it has potential to attract even more business,
Yes.
right? So you kind of leave out some of the other aspects. Again, people are already buying your product. People will have concerns. People will need aftercare. People will need
Yes.
warranties, right? And that's why at on a very on self reflection, what are the other options that you can do in order to be able to scale your business up
Without
without
spending.
risking
Mm-hmm.
the investment involved with building that? Because again, the harsh reality of putting up that business is you're also creating almost near permanent relationships.
Yeah.
If you say we're gonna build our support side from the ground up, you're in charge of it. You're accountable to it. You're gonna have to pour the resources in. If you have a physical space, you'll have to carve out a certain section of your office in order to seat people in.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to buy the hardware
Yes.
and then hire the people and then ultimately be responsible for
For
that
those, yeah,
for
and
those
managing
people and
ma-
manage
yeah.
them, right?
So it's apart from the money, the costs. There's also the time and effort that
Yeah.
comes into it.
And we haven't really talked about, being a person who developed a product. Like, how knowledgeable are you in directing the people
Yeah.
who are now running, at
'Cause,
this
I
point,
mean,
3 different departments?
I'm not saying all developers are like this, but most of them don't. Well,
Don't know how
most
to talk to people?
no. That's kind of a
Are
harsh
bad
way of
with
saying
people?
it. No, that's kind of a harsh way of saying it. But
Don't
you
have
know,
social
but
skills?
you know,
What do you want me to say?
but you know, but with customer service, there's a way that you need to talk to people. It's not just saying it bluntly,
Yes.
right?
And there's even,
And there's a way of interpreting, the code and how that app is programmed in such a way that your customer would understand it. So it's a very different skill set than what. Okay, I'm a developer. I mean, of course, there are people there that are
Mm-hmm.
both developers and are very, very good at customer service. I'm not saying they're not,
Bad people
but
skills.
sometimes, as we mentioned in previous episodes, you kind of also have to know yourself, where your strengths lie.
Yes.
What's your core competency,
Yes.
and concentrate on that. Yes, again, you
Yeah.
can learn
And,
anything,
and
but
and to be fair, I'm just gonna pull back because I was laughing so hard internally. A lot of people that I know who are developers actually say that they are bad with people. So, that's them realizing that they're
your
not
brother is a developer, right?
exactly. That's why I'm talking about this in the very realist sense. He said, I don't have social skills. My friends
Oh,
who
he
are
does.
no, I mean, but the
But
kind of
anyway,
social skills that are required to deal with customers, and that these people have pride. They develop the product. If somebody tells them that
oh,
your
my
product
my brother's a QA.
sucks,
Sorry.
your product sucks. Oh, your brother's okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
your product sucks. You know, they're too close to the product to
Yeah.
receive that
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
feedback from a consumer. Like if somebody came to your child and said, "Oh my God, your child's ugly," you're
Yeah.
not gonna say
Because
thank you for
there's,
that
I mean,
feedback.
even that feedback has to be translated in such a way that's actionable for the
Actionable, yes.
developer.
And
People can just say, "Yeah, your product's ugly." That's not really
yeah,
actionable. That's not
yes,
even very helpful. But what do you mean by ugly?
yeah, and that gives you like 100 different feedback to sort through. But
Yes.
then again, like I said, as a business owner, are you the best person to receive that, or do you
Yes.
want to put together a team who will be able to sort through all of that feedback, make it actionable, right?
And get
And
all
that
of
that
that. Yeah.
really all we're trying to drill down on now is apart from the obvious solution, which is to hire the right people to now set up your departments.
There's also
We,
another viable
there's
solution, which
another
is
viable solution, which is to partner with either an agency
yes,
who is skilled at that, who made that their main business,
yes, who's actually done it for several other companies.
who's done it for several other companies with proven results,
Yes,
right? And that can be a very attractive
option. Yeah.
solution, yeah, for people, like, and that's why a lot of companies, even especially the corporate ones, they focus on what they're really good at, which is
Yeah.
to build, develop
Yes.
products, churn out more products, and then partner with an advertising agency, for example, to sell their product for them because we're good at what we're doing here.
Yeah.
You're good at what you're doing
Yes.
there. You sell,
You
we pay
probably know a
you.
lot more ways of how to sell this product than I would.
Yes, more creative ways, and
Yes.
you know how you go back to way back. There's the De Beers story.
The what?
De Beers, the diamond company.
I don't know this. I don't think I know this.
Okay, you know how De Beers is a diamond company. Diamonds weren't worth jack shit back then. They're just shiny rocks with
Okay.
really really hard rocks. But the agency who was hired to reinvent the image of the diamond made it happen so that uh, you know
The
the
value of that,
diamond
yeah.
now becomes the symbol of love,
Luxury, yeah.
luxury, that you can't actually get married until you can afford the diamond. And it turned it around so much that now everybody, like nobody can even think about getting engaged without
Yeah, diamond ring.
without thinking about a diamond.
Yeah.
And that's how their expertise comes in. That's actually how a lot of businesses see advertising, being able to scale it up. So I not necessarily digressing, but once you've made that decision, you know, do I partner? Do I
Hire
hire
an
from
agency,
the
yeah.
ground up? The question is also about scalability.
Yes.
How fast do I need to build it?
Yeah.
And therefore, if you don't have the time to hire, put together
Then you partner with
then
an
you
agency.
then you partner
Yeah.
with an agency, and that's the again the nature of these questions is how fast is my business growing? Is it growing at a rate where it's so good. The idea is so good. I just need to get it out. People are getting feedback. Being able to sell it from my backyard is
Yeah.
generating enough income that if I think big and take it from my garage to say an online store, oh
Yes.
my gosh, more questions.
Yeah.
Do I take it to an online store? Do I take it to a physical store? How can I achieve all of those? I mean, honestly, I would just rather say, just get a digital marketing agency
Yes.
and do the work for you. You think you're shelling out a lot of money just to pay an agency who's not even part of your company, but in reality, think about the returns
The
of what
returns.
of what
Yes.
they can do. And hence, after all of that,
Yeah.
we go
The
back to our
returns
core
and yeah,
uh,
returns. Like the time that you saved,
mhm.
not having to learn for all of these things from the ground up, and having someone who's skilled, who's actually, yeah, this is their main thing.
Yeah. Although the great thing about it is that if you start moving away from the well, again, for me, every aspect of the business is very important. But to some businesses, you start looking now at the cost centers.
Yeah.
So the kind that's necessary for your business, but
To
doesn't
run.
actually generate
Yes.
income for you, which
Like
is
on face value doesn't generate like
yeah.
the
We have ideas,
but anyway,
but
yeah.
that's such as the reality of how these businesses actually run. Support services
Yes.
are cost centers. Shared services are cost centers.
Mm-hmm.
QAs, workforce, uh, absolutely necessary for your business. You're selling your product, but you're getting feedback, returns, customer service,
Mm.
complaints, for example.
Yes.
Yeah, they're necessary to be handled. Otherwise, they damage the reputation of your product. But at the same time, dealing with these customers doesn't actually generate you income.
Yeah.
I,
I mean,
for
but you have to just as a point, you do have to take care of your customers, and
you
hence
do.
this part of the business is vital.
Yeah, it's vital, but like I said, not necessarily a cost center.
Yeah.
So if you have investors, right,
Yeah.
and if you have people that you are accountable to in terms of like, uh, we want to see our money come back to us. Sometimes that's important, but not as important as no. Get more salespeople, get
Yeah.
more marketing people, sell more. The your business is in this junction where if you sell more, you're just gonna get more people. But like I said, the problem there is it's vital,
Yes.
necessary, but not necessarily where people with, and so that becomes a problem when you say, I want to use a part of our money's budget to set up a company. It will cost this much, right? And that's really where it comes down to actually if you cut down on maybe getting an entire floor
Mm-hmm.
to to get people and hire people, and when you hire people, you have to think about benefits, hardware,
Yes.
sorry,
All the overhead
all of
costs.
the
Yeah.
overhead costs,
Mm.
etc. It's actually easier now to partner with an
So
outsourcing
who will?
scalable
Yeah.
who will and the
Manage
thing
that. Yeah.
is from a fail success or fail rate, the term scalability also comes because you can partner with a support agency and not necessarily have to seal the deal. You can say, we'll try you out for a year, and if
Yeah.
it works, it works. If not,
Or even like even if not support services, like for a sales campaign, right? We need this campaign done for x number of months, and
yes.
that'll be it, as opposed to hiring someone, a salesperson, to do just this sales campaign for 3 months, which is going to be
Oh,
very
yeah.
very expensive. So you have to also think about what else this like in staff.
Which is great for short-term goals.
Yes.
Which is why, like, if you're a business, I think you really want to be able to see what kind of partnerships are available.
Yes.
See, even if you develop, so either short-term relationships or long-term relationships. If you see an aspect of your business that will really benefit from
Short
from
term.
from this,
I mean, even if we say like just short term, I need this sales campaign done, right? But if it works, or there are other sales campaigns that you want to try out, then that relationship with that agency could be a long term relationship,
yes,
right?
could be. I mean, there's this long-term relationship because we know what this agency can do,
Yeah.
and we want that kind of relationship. But at the same time, if you're uncertain,
Yes.
then
You
that
have that
allows you,
flexibility. Yeah.
yes, the
Your
flexibility,
flexibility.
and say we're gonna spend this budget, but don't worry because it's not gonna be long term unless we can prove results,
Yes.
which I think is great because you've seen uh, some businesses say we did this,
Mm-hmm.
but it didn't work out
Yeah.
because we weren't prepared at the time, and sometimes it becomes a failed campaign because you know they say at that time we wanted to do this or we thought we wanted to do this, but it didn't turn out. But the problem is it becomes a failure when you try to seal a long-term partnership that you weren't really ready to step into.
Yeah.
And that was, well, in a way, and that was like for me, that was the learning that we wanted to avoid having to learn the hard way.
Yeah.
That's true. That was super true. We had at that time, I think, not necessarily the luxury, but we could afford to put more of ourselves into the business until such time that we know exactly what we wanted, so that we can step back and say we know how to fill this void.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's actually a problem with some of our people. Like, um, remember when we hired, say for example, we started hiring for HR. So
Yeah.
like we were the ones doing this, and they
Yes.
said, "What's your process?" Didn't really have any.
Yeah. It's all in our head.
Didn't really have any of the things documented. So,
Yeah.
so you're actually inheriting a vacant position, like an actual vacant
Yeah.
position. But if we were
So, I
don't
mean,
worry, Lara,
this
your
goes
position
no
is
no
not in danger. But
no, this goes two ways,
Mm.
right? There are people who, like us, have been doing that position for years and have all of these processes in our head.
Mm-hmm.
And there are also people who want things done the way that they want, and so they would document those processes. And so when they partner with an agency,
Mm-hmm.
we want it done this way, and so we have documentation.
Yes.
Which is actually for me a better way to go about things, but not necessarily a startup company might not necessarily have that time to document all of the processes.
Or they were at that point where they're just surviving.
Yes.
And now's the time to partner with somebody who knows what
Yes.
they're doing in order for us to have the growth possibly that we didn't know how to run.
Yes.
And that's why we're turning to you.
Yes.
So, in terms of can we afford them? That was a question earlier. Which one do you, which business process do you, do you focus on first? I feel like I want to take this apart bit by bit and talk about it more from a macro level. But if as a startup, those are really some of the questions that you wanted
Yes.
to that
It,
you
it
fill
will
in.
it will come up.
Well, obviously, I mean, inevitably, not
Yeah.
not even obviously, it will inevitably come up, and when that happens, sit back, because sometimes the problem is you're looking at all of these little problems, big, huge, not little problems, staring you in the face, and
You're too close
sometimes
to it
yeah, you're
to be
too
able
exactly.
to think. And
You,
you're
you
working on your, and this has happened to me. Like, you're working so much in the business, in the weeds of the business, that you can't even think strategically that, okay, right now we need an HR person, we need a marketing person, because this is not my thing, right? This,
it's not your thing.
yeah, it not
And
my
that's
thing.
why I think that's why the great thing about startups who start in the right path, uh, if you're in that stage where you can literally call yourselves a startup, I think the one best advice that sums all of this,
Yes.
when you're dealing with these problems, look towards a mentor
Yeah.
who knows about the business. The great thing now is that because there's such a huge community for startups, whatever businesses, that there are people who are willing to uh, either mentor. I'm not saying it's for free.
Yes.
But
Or
there are
join mastermind groups where, yeah.
mastermind groups. Uh, Well, even just going back from from a mentorship role, uh, there are people who are willing to impart their
Yes.
experience, their business know-how, or even their methods in
Yes.
setting up their own business. Try to find a great mentor. Try to find uh, a set of advisors, even
Yes.
if and when you have that, they will tell you that I will impart my knowledge for you for a percentage of the business, maybe. That's nothing compared to
To having
what
to
they can give you.
yeah, it's yeah, compared to yeah.
What
Yeah, absolutely.
what they can give you in terms of growth. If your business is dependent on rapid expansion,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely get that. They will
Get a
help you.
mentor, get if you know that that's not your thing,
Mhm.
partner with someone, partner with an agency.
Yeah. No, I mean the mentor will probably be able to help you
You
navigate
navigate which
which
one,
ones to.
which path to go for. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, right now, if we say if a business comes to us and says, "This is where I am," I'd probably be able to look at it and say, you know, here's an option for you to try.
To consider, yes.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I mean, I'm happy to say that, you're we've passed that kind of threshold where, uh, I'm not gonna offer myself as a mentor, just somebody who can offer advice, but I would definitely hold yourself out. Look for somebody who has run a similar business
Yeah.
to yours.
Or run that part of the business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Okay.
wasn't exactly part of the talking points. Main in terms of going back to just sustainable.
Yeah,
Uh,
because this is growth. It's a very, very big topic, especially for startup growth. It's a very, very big topic.
yeah.
And I think what we've talked about so far is really finding the right people. May it be, a an internal hire, or partnering with an agency, and making those decisions based on what are your priorities, what are you good at, what aren't you good at, what are you
Yeah.
procrastinating, and be able to give
Yeah.
it to someone who knows their stuff.
Just before we wrap that part up, uh, look at everything that you're going to try. If you're at that point when you've tried and you're now at a point where you have these like little bits of your department being set up,
Yeah.
actually keep looking at it. You
Yeah.
can't just say it's going to run itself, it's going to fix itself.
No.
Once it's all there, watch it, because the thing about startups is that money runs dry.
Yeah.
The money runs dry. So if hopefully your business comes in and becomes just that product that sells itself, or with the right marketing strategy, with the right sales strategy, that everything comes in
Mm-hmm.
right. But in reality, sometimes while you're trying to get all of it's a juggling act, growing this
Yeah.
team and then this team and then this team. You're kind of also faced with the idea of we might not have enough money to continue operating until next year.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
that comes with the harsher reality of, do I look at this and say, from a scalability standpoint, should I retain all of this, all of the departments or all of the aspects of my business, or should I, axe one
Yeah.
initiative?
Eliminate, streamline, or retain.
Mm. The harshest part is when you have to choose to eliminate,
No,
especially if they're
no.
no.
I would say no, because there are things that you can eliminate, because when you walk through that process, or when you walk through your business, you know that at this point in time, this isn't needed anymore, because we're at that point where we should be focusing on this more.
Oh, when you've
Yeah.
outgrown the
Yeah,
process.
I've grown a process, or it's just a waste of time. Like, you're not getting anything from it anymore, so you can eliminate it.
Yeah, but remember that there's because you're talking from here.
Yeah,
You know what's involved with that?
there's a lot of course involved with that.
Yeah, firing people,
Yeah,
which is never a good thing.
not necessarily. What I'm talking about is some of the processes right now, if you eliminate them, could free up your people.
Oh,
Not necessarily ask them, but free up people to do other things that would bring in more ROI. That's what
but
I'm
the
saying.
truth is, either could happen
Yeah,
when you
yeah.
decide that. a process is no longer necessary, you might have ended up hiring more people than necessary.
Yes.
Freeing up more people doesn't necessarily mean that you have other things for them to do.
So that it also
Sometimes it
boils down
creates
to what we were talking about earlier about flexibility.
yeah, and it creates redundancies. It's
Yes.
never a fun part when you have to say I have to lay you off, but it's again a reality. If you're going to watch out for your business, that's simply a reality that
Yes.
you have to deal with.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, that's keep the end goal in mind, growing your business. If at this time this part is not necessary to continue growing your business, it's like like some businesses are like, we're gonna do this, and this. And when I say this, and this, like for example, for marketing, we're gonna do influencer marketing, we're gonna do Facebook, Instagram, but the reality is sometimes you might not
It's
have
not-
enough money to get to choose.
Yeah.
And then when
Either
you're
not
talking
enough
about
money or you try it out because in business you just really have to try things out because you never know if it's gonna work or not.
yeah,
Or even if you have
and find out which one's the most successful.
yeah most successful and then
And
keep
even
at-
when it
keep
comes to
at it.
products, sometimes you wanted to come up with products with 7 colors.
Yeah.
And then you start selling the 7 colors, you find out that 3 out of the 7 aren't performing as well. Do you want to keep your vision that I want to sell rainbow, like a rainbow version of this product, but the reality is, if 3 of them are really not selling,
Yeah. And I'm keeping inventory of them.
and then you're
Might
just
as not well. Yeah.
yeah, might as well either knock the colors off,
Yes.
which is also a problem because
Now you have
what
inventory.
what do you do with
Clearance,
no, but what do you
sale.
do with a product that's not a rainbow anymore?
Yeah.
It's just 4 out of 7 products.
But I think what you're saying is that could also change the direction.
Yeah, it could
yeah.
change the direction. It could, instead of rainbow, you just become, I don't know, Skittles. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, it's such a big topic that I
I
don't
think we
think
can like based on our conversation right now, we definitely want to dive in a little bit more
Into the
in
different
into
aspects.
different aspects. But
Hey,
for the
let
purpose,
us.
yeah,
I would say let us know, like,
which one are you most interested in?
Yeah, and where are you in your business, and what do you think you'd like to hear about more? I would be more than happy to discuss that.
Yeah,
Send us your thoughts
obviously.
because
We are happy to
we
discuss it.
won't know.
Yeah, send us your thoughts. Put in your comments. So please do subscribe. We'll put it in our socials. In the description box. In the description
Yeah.
box.
I mean,
And-
wherever we have your social media links, please feel free to like, subscribe, follow, and comment. Again,
Thank you for listening to Outsourcing and More. My name again is Penny.
and I wish I had more time to talk about this, but
I
yes,
know
this is
it's
friends.
No, we like to talk about this.
Yeah.
Because it's part of the business, right?
Yeah.
But,
But my
yeah.
name is Penny. Oh, wait, my name is not Penny. I am Francis. That's Penny.
Yes.
And you're tuning in to Outsourcing and More. We will see you soon on our next episode.
Bye.
Ciao.